This is good racing, ladies and gentlemen, here. Hutchinson on the line. The crowd are going bananas again for another Poole 5-1. Hello, good evening. It's a big warm welcome to the Pirates TV viewers. I'm your presenter and commentator, Scott Mitchell, for tonight's meeting. And tonight we welcome the Plymouth Gladiators. Now, the Gladiators made a lovely signing the other week of Scott Nicholls coming in at number 5. And they've won their last 2 meetings at home, scoring 52 points in both. So they're looking like a different outfit. They come to Poole tonight with a few guests, but we'll talk about that later. Also this evening, we have Oxford taking on the Red Car Bears. So the table's going to move a little bit this evening. But we're going to head over to the pits now, head with our roaming reporter Beth and see who she's got with her.
Zach, last home meeting of the regular season. How important is it to finish strong tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I think now every meeting is important. Obviously we want to be winning all home meetings and do what we can on the road as well. But we need to knuckle down now and everyone's got to dig in and hopefully put in a good performance tonight to take there on Saturday.
And we've been seeing, obviously, everyone on the team has been able to prove themselves. We've seen what everyone can do. Now it's really about getting everyone to do it all at the same time. Yeah,
I think we've struggled with that a bit so far this year. A few boys had sort of tough meetings last week, but we, as you said, we need to be all clicking together now. This point of the season, we can't really afford to be carrying anyone. So, hopefully everyone can click into gear and, we start that tonight.
And of course, some good results already this season against Plymouth. Does that help with the confidence a little bit?
Yeah, I think every meeting that we have a good one, we can take that into the next. And tonight's no different. We've had them a couple of times now already, I think. So hopefully we put on a good show again tonight.
And of course, Plymouth coming in, they have got a couple of guests down at reserve, both very recent Pirates. Of course, Darryl being a Pirate earlier on in the season. Does that make things a little bit more difficult for you guys tonight?
I don't think so. Doesn't matter who we're against. We're doing the same job. So, I'm sure he'll be coming here to prove a point. And but hopefully our boys are coming out on top.
Zach, thank you so much. Have an amazing night and good luck.
Thank you.
Scott, it was only a couple of weeks ago that we saw you having a quick practice around here. How does it feel coming back tonight and actually getting to ride competitively again?
Well, it's not practice now, it'll get me backside in gear. So. No, it was just nice to get a little bit of time on the bike, to be fair. I've had a few meetings since and it's been okay. I've had a few kind of niggles bike-wise and just trying to get myself back to where I need to be, really. It doesn't happen overnight. So race by race, it starts to feel a little bit better. I start to relax a little bit more. So hopefully tonight we can kind of be a bit more where we should be. And
coming up against Poole, obviously at the moment Poole is standing at the top of the league. What would a win mean for Plymouth tonight?
It'd be huge. I mean, that seems where Poole always stand, isn't it? They're always at the top, and we're kind of a little bit depleted. I think we're a couple of riders down tonight, which is a big blow. Obviously, not having Nicholls, who's been in great form as well. You kind of Oxford came really close last week, so you kind of used little bits like that as a bit of an inspiration. But look, we know Poole are strong, so if we could get a result here tonight, would be awesome. It'd really give the team a whole lift, and that kind of desire to make the playoffs would become a lot more realistic too.
There's a lot of talk about the reserves and how much their influence has on a meeting. Of course, you've got 2 reserves coming in as guests tonight that are both fairly recent Pirates. Do you think that could go in your favour tonight?
Certainly hope so. Like you say, it's always difficult whenever you have team changes, and like you say, especially at reserve. I mean, it's reserves can win meetings for you, and obviously without Alfie, that's a big blow because he's a rider that can perform well. But we won't put any pressure on the boys. Just sort of welcome them into the team and get behind them, and hopefully they can do a decent job. But at the end of the day, it's just a whole team effort. We've all got to kind of do our bit. So fingers crossed we can all perform like we know we can and give the Pirates a run for their money.
And of course, second half coming in at the weekend. Does it make the job a little bit easier for you going into that meeting if you have a strong night tonight?
Possibly. It's never easy though. Plymouth is a technical little track, but it's it can be a difficult little place. So look, if we could get a result tonight, it would be amazing. I think it's going to be tough to get a win here, but if we could keep it, like I say, if we could keep it as close as we could, and if we could pick up the bonus point, for us right now, it's just doing everything we can to try and get into that playoff spot. It'll be realistic. I mean, things go to plan. Yeah, you can go and win. We know there's teams out there stronger than us, so we'll just take it one meeting at a time.
Scott, thank you so much. I'm wishing you the best of luck for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So here are the runners and riders for this evening's meeting, and we'll start with the Plymouth Gladiators. At number 1, they have Dan Thompson riding as a guest. Number 2, Lasse FREDRIKSEN. Number 3, the captain Ben Barker. At number 4, Joe Thompson. At number 5, new recent signing Scott Nicholls. At number 6, former pirate Darryl RITCHINGS rides as guest. And at number 7, another former pirate, Max Perry, he rides as a guest. And their manager, the ever-present Garry May. We're going over to the pirate side now. At number 1 is the Rocket Man, Richard Lawson. At number 2, Tobias THOMSEN. At number 3 is Lewis Kerr. At number 4 is Zach Cook, the captain. Number 5, Anders Rowe. At number 6, Poole Starke. And number 7 is Will Cairns.
Let's ask them if they want a pirate joke. A pirate joke?
Well, good evening, everybody. It's Rob Dyer and Scott Mitchell on commentary tonight for this championship clash between the Pirates and the Gladiators. And the Pirates and the Gladiators have crossed swords already this season. And the Plymouth boys were very jubilant when they recorded a win over the Pirates down in Devon. But to be fair, the Pirates have had the upper hand here at Wimborne Road on most occasions, and tonight they'll be looking to cement their place at the top of the league table against the Gladiators by securing 2 league points, and the potential of an aggregate bonus point comes up next weekend down at Plymouth. Here's your league table. As we can see, the Pirates sitting pretty at the top of the table. Glasgow Tigers there closing in, now 22 points against the Pirates 25, and they've got 2 meetings in hand. And then the race for the playoff positions elsewhere is really hotting up, and you can probably make a case for Edinburgh, Oxford and Redcar to fill the other positions at playoff time. So all to ride for, and I suppose the Plymouth boys won't count themselves out of it yet. They got a chance, I think, with their great home form down at the Coliseum, and with Scotty Nicholls in the fold now, every chance of putting big points on the board when teams go down to Devon visiting. Here's a little view of the pits area with the Pirates side. Tobias Thompson there down on his knees, just doing some adjustments. Tobias, who took a ride in the Premiership for Kings Lynn, recently recorded paid 6, which was an excellent return for Tobias in the top stratosphere. So he'll be hoping he can keep that form running on there. Zach Cook behind the man sitting on the bike. We should say congratulations to him. Josh Goodwin, the mechanic tonight. Josh, who with his brother Scott took the 500cc sidecar British Masters title at the weekend. Will Cairns giving us a wave. Good old Will. Still learning his trade. I'm sure fans will be giving him a kiss back. Still learning his trade really in this championship level, but always keen to learn, and I'm sure tonight with Max Perry and Darryl RITCHINGS in opposition, he'll be looking to chalk up a few points for the Pirates. And cool as you like down at the end, Anders Rowe just relaxing before things get underway. Here we go on the head-to-head statistics. Poole against Plymouth. Plymouth, as you can see, with no successes here at Wimborne Road. It's all one-way traffic as far as that goes. And the highest score, 64 to the Pirates, and average score 57. So it does indicate that maybe this one's going to go the way of the Pirates, but don't let's count our chickens. Plymouth can come up with a surprise with anything likely to happen.
Yeah, that's the one thing you know about Garry May. So yeah, more on the head-to-heads. Here we go. Wimborne Road history. 100% win battle there in the form of William Cairns against Max Perry. Max Perry knows this place, and when he came here, he was not in the best of form, but he's finding a bit of it now, and I'm looking forward to this matchup tonight.
Here we go then with head-to-heads between Poole Starke and Darryl RITCHINGS, and of course Darryl RITCHINGS coming in as a guest rider for Plymouth tonight after a short spell on the Pirate side, and he did impress everybody in those few meetings that he did. Poole Starke riding to his average and looking to perhaps push on a little bit. He seems to have been just slightly off the pace in the last couple of home meetings, but I'm sure he's out to put that to rights tonight against Darryl and Max Perry at the reserve level.
Yeah, head-to-heads on the number 5s. Well, chalk and cheese this one. It's obviously goes 100% the way of Scott Nicholls, but Scott, obviously we know as a former Pirate, loves this place. His average is about there and thereabouts. I suppose for me it's about how match fit he is. He's only been back a short time. Can he take on Anders, with Anders been here all season? High score of 16 from 6 rides here from Scott and 15 from 5 from Anders. This looks like, on paper, it could be a close battle.
On to the number 4s, and skipper Zach Cook is the man in possession of that jacket for the Pirates. Comes up against Joe Thompson. Joe Thompson, of course, did a short spell with the Pirates a couple of seasons ago, and Joe has started to establish himself now in championship level speedway, and he rides at the crucial number 4 position. Heat 14 is one of those key races, and both of those guys are quite capable of popping out the start and winning the race for their team.
Yeah, number 3's head-to-head, Lewis Kerr and Ben Barker. Little bit higher in the averages for Lewis Kerr. He's been going well here lately. 3 battles to 0 by the looks of things here at Wimborne Road. So the battle percentage looks to go Louis Kerr's way. We know that Barker is a hard charger and doesn't give anything up. And Lewis Kerr has been good of late, had a couple of Heat 15s of late, so we know that he'll be looking good. So this one's going to be a tight one as well, I believe.
On to the number 2s, and Tobias THOMSEN against Lasse FREDRIKSEN. Lasse FREDRIKSEN in an unusual position, I think, riding at number 2, but it could be a good one for him because he'll get heat number 1 and he'll get an inside gate. And if he can get on to a good start and build his confidence, he could be a thorn in the Pirate side. But as we know, Tobias THOMSEN is 100% trier, he never gives up, and he'll battle right through to the end. So, as we've said on several of these, it's a pretty close call, that one.
And here we go, the number 1's head-to-head. Dan Thompson comes in as the guest. High score here of 11 plus 2 for him. You feel that he's going to have to do that again tonight if he's to trouble the Pirates in any way, shape or form. Richard Lawson's not known as the Rocket Man round here for no reason. When you look at his average, he's a 9.53 average, but here it's a 10.35. So he's got a better home average than he has everywhere else. And I think this one probably is just going to be tipped in Lawson's favour.
So there we go, that's your head-to-head lineup, and as we've been saying, it could go either way in many of those situations. On paper, maybe the Pirates slight favourites to take this one. Home form in the last couple of weeks has been okay, but nothing spectacular. They'll be looking to make it a spectacular show tonight because it's going to be tough going down there in Devon at the weekend. Just to look at the Plymouth side of the pits with the boys coming towards the area to come out on parade. MIDDLEDITCH and Scott Nicholls, manager and rider in the England and Great Britain days. They know each other very, very well indeed, and 2 great ambassadors for British Speedway. And there the number 7, the young man Max Perry, one of the few racers who wears spectacles when he's out on track. And here coming towards us, the tall figure of Darryl RITCHINGS, former Pirate earlier in this season, but now without a team in the championship, which is criminal really. But he has been racing regularly for the Oxford Chargers in the National Development League and racing regularly at the Isle of Wight in the Nora Championships over there, where he's absolutely been tearing up the Smallbrook track and recording the fastest times around the island for the last 3 or 4 seasons. So he's certainly in good nick, and it'll be great to see Darryl back at Wimborne Road and seeing what progress he's made since he was a Pirate. Boys coming together there. It's Anders Rowe with the flag. Here comes Paul Starke's machine, I think. And Paul Starke's dad there following on, Paul Clues, Speedway promoter at Leicester, of course, but here this evening, supporting his son, as he has been for most weeks. And Richard Lawson, the Rocket Man, sat there taking it easy, just gathering his thoughts before we go racing in the first round of heats in a few minutes' time. Mechanics and riders, mechanics anyway, out on the centre, bikes there are ready to go. And shortly we'll be bringing out the riders on their pre-meeting parade. Weather's got a little bit overcast here in the early evening. We have had some overcast weather during the day, but also some bright sunshine as well. So let's hope the track holds up and it provides some great speedway racing tonight. Here we go on the pre-meeting parade with the introductions to be done by our stadium announcer Nigel Leahy.
Just along the coast from us this evening, please give a big Dorset welcome to the Plymouth Gladiators!
Yeah, as the Plymouth Gladiators approach the grandstand, I'm sure they will get a warm ripple of applause from the Pirates faithful.
And it's getting tight at the top now. Our boys need a solid finish to the campaign if they're going to stay in pole position going into those playoffs. Show them everything you've got, please. The Gladiators, they may be playing catch-up. They have 3 matches in hand on the Pirates, and they need to boost to reach the playoff zone. They'll be able to do just that tonight. They've strengthened up since their last visit in May, but now they are missing 3 regulars, and they turn to guest riders to take their place at numbers 1 and 6 and 7 this evening. It's time to meet them though, and another please welcome from Dorset for the Plymouth Gladiators. At number 7, the former Pirate, sure to get a big welcome, Max Perry. Another former Pirate at number 6, their guest is Darryl RITCHINGS. Number 5, returning to the saddle, evergreen Scott Nicholls. Number 4, Joe Thompson. At number 3, the hard campaigner and their captain, Ben Barker. Number 2, Lasse FREDRIKSEN. And the guest rider at number 1 for the Gladiators, Dan Thompson. Well, last week we went all the way down to the wire here. Can the boys dominate tonight? I think they will with your help. Ladies and gentlemen, show your allegiance to the Wessex Marine Pirates! Number 7, Will Kerr. Number 6, Paul Starke. At 5, Anders Rowe. Skipper at number 4, Zach Cook. Number 3, turning up the heat towards the business end of the season, Louis Kerr. Number 2, Tobias Thompson. And number 1, Richard Lawson. 2 captains are here with me on the line, Zach and Ben. Morris is going to spin the coin. It's heads is called by Ben. It is heads who gets the choice. Ben's taking 1 and 3 for the Gladiators in Heat 1.
So the lads out there now testing their setups, checking gearings, checking how the bike's pulling. They will have a track walk about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour before the meeting. Try and decide what the track is going to do to them, bike-wise. I think it's a cooler night today as well, Rob. I think as cool as we've been probably since about April or May, I'd say. So I'd imagine that changes what kind of jetting and things that the guys will run this evening.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how the boys do feel about it comparing to the last couple of weeks. Conditions are slightly different. We've got a little bit of coolness in the air. Certainly not as humid as it has been over the last few weeks, so it may just slightly change their setups, but I'm sure that they'll be talking amongst themselves on both sides of the pits, of course, Plymouth and Poole, and trying to come up with the solutions to make best starts in the opening races of the night. So first blood then to the Gladiators with the correct choice on the gate positions. They go 1 and 3 in heat number 1. Of course, that means that in heat number 15 it will be the Pirates' choice. It'll be interesting to see how the meeting has panned out and whether that is a decisive move or not. Pirate fans, of course, will be hoping that the home side are well clear at that stage, but if the Gladiators are in touching distance come heat number 15, they'll have done very, very well.
Yeah, so we have a slight change here with the Pirates TV team this evening. Our usual roaming cameraman Paul is not well. I hope he's at home in bed. I hope you're getting well, my friend. And our roaming reporter Beth is now on the roaming camera. So first time for her tonight on the camera. And these are the shots that we're getting from her. So she's doing a grand job already. So that's good. Thrown in at the deep end a bit, but I'm sure she'll get on with it and yeah, bring us all the pictures we need from the pits this evening.
Yes, get well soon, Paul. We miss you, and we know that you'll be missing your speedway as well from your position out there on the centre green and roaming around the pits. So we're in best capable hands this evening, and might get a slightly different take, of course, on how the pictures come across to you. No bad thing, of course. So as we look into the pit area, we're looking to the Pirates, and there's Louis Kerr just having a drink before he gets himself ready to go in heat number 3. There we go.
Interesting call from Ben Barker to take 1 and 3. We know last week that gate 4 was the dominant force in the first 8 heats, and so I wonder, obviously we have that little bit of information because we're here each week. It was gates 3 and 4 that were really good. Gate 2 wasn't too bad, and then gate 1 was a bit of a graveyard till later in the meeting. So be interesting to see who gets off of where and how.
Yeah, the Pirates will be looking to try and make a better impression over the first few races than they have in the subsequent or previous few weeks, because they've been a bit slow out of the traps, and doesn't make it easy when you're trying to establish a lead if you've got to do catch up in the first 2 races. But looks like we've got riders out on track. We've got the clock counting down. We've got referee Dave Waters from Coventry in the box doing the business tonight, and so we'll be bringing up on screen for you very shortly your official lineup for heat number 1.
So here we go then. In gate 1 in yellow is Lasse FREDRIKSEN for the Gladiators. In gate 2 in blue is Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates. In gate 3 in white is Dan Thompson, the guest at number 1 for the Gladiators. And on the outside in red, it's the ever-present Richard Lawson for the Pirates.
Early heats, nice fresh track there. Let's have a look back at the 10 matches so far in heat number 1 here at Poole, and it's a fairly even spread with 4 2s to the Pirates, shared heats, and visitors 2 4s being the order of the day. Interestingly, visitors have not taken a 5-1 in heat 1 here at the stadium, and no doubt that is partly due to the fact Richard Lawson is in there snapping at people's heels. So the riders roll up to the tapes. We're almost ready to go on the first race of the night.
Marshall's ready in, up go the tape. Lawson makes it from the outside. Joe Thompson's had a flyer off him on the inside. Tobias Thompson trying to get up into third. Lawson having a good go. Out front, Thompson has a big wheelie. That's let Lawson through on the inside.
And at the same time, Tobias Thompson is dipped out by Lasse FREDRIKSEN, who comes back in to take third place. So Thompson goes to the dirt at this early stage. Out front, Lawson leads Dan Thompson, with Lasse FREDRIKSEN running third place and tucking in quite tightly behind his partner. Lawson looking over his shoulder, no trouble at the moment. Thompson's there, but he's not that close. And they come over the line, one to go with Lawson in the lead.
Yeah, Lawson's still out front. Tobias Thompson at the back, trying everything he knows to get on terms with Lasse FREDRIKSEN, but it can be this way in Heat 1 here at Wimborne Road. But it's a win for Richard Lawson. It's red, white, yellow and blue as they come over the line.
Well, plenty to talk about in the opening lap of that one, because we had riders swapping positions for fun and a little bit of bucking broncos from Dan Thompson up front. On screen, Richard Lawson, your race winner, coming round to receive applause from the grandstand. Solid start for the Pirates, maybe hoping for a heat advantage, but 3-3 is no problem to get the ball rolling. Here comes your official result on race number 1.
Richard Lawson there telling his mechanic what he's looking to want changed. Bart is in his corner tonight, a mechanic that's been here for many years. So here's the official result of heat number 1. It's a win for Richard Lawson in red for the Pirates. In second in white was Dan Thompson for the Gladiators. Third in yellow, Lasse FREDRIKSEN for the Gladiators, and fourth Tobias Thompson in blue for the Pirates. The result of heat 1 is a 3-all heat score. So the score after one heat, 3 to the Pirates, 3 to the Gladiators.
Heat number 2, we're counting down 2 minutes for the start.
The 2-minute time allowance is in operation for heat number 2, with riders out on track making their way round to the circuit start, and a race that's going to have an influence, I think, on how the meeting pans out.
Yeah, so here we go, sponsored by Compact Lifting Services. Gate 1 is Poole Starke in red for the Pirates. Gate 2 in white is Darryl RITCHINGS for the Gladiators. Gate 3 in blue is Will Cairns for the Pirates. And in Gate 4 in yellow is Max Perry for the Gladiators. The Gladiators operating 2 guests tonight. 2 former Pirates as well. A master stroke from Garry May, maybe. We will see after the end of this race.
Yeah, Garry May, one of the shrewdest team managers on the circuit, and he knows all the riders and they know him. So when he makes a choice of guest, it's usually with a lot of confidence in what they're going to bring to the meeting. So we're just waiting for the riders to roll forward. We've got about half a minute on the clock, but hopefully they won't need all of that to get themselves into position, ready to go racing.
So it's a good start from Will Cairns in blue. Coming around the outside is Max Perry in white, but underneath him goes Poole Starke. Not a lot of room down the back straight. Poole Starke left racing room, but it's the Pirates out front as they come through. Max Perry trying to go around Poole Starke.
Yeah, Perry doing all he can to haul in those 2 Pirates. He's got Starke under threat, but looks like Starke has just about found the line now, and although Max Perry's working his socks off, he's not making any inroads into the Pirates pair, so Cairns is away at the front at the moment. Starke in second place. Max Perry a little bit wild on bend number 1 and 2. And there's a big gap now between the two Pirates and the two Gladiators. 1 lap to go.
So it's Cairns out front in blue still for the Pirates, followed by his teammate Poole Starke in red. Richings has taken Perry at the back, but it's blue, red, white and yellow as they come over the line. It's a 5-1 heat score in the favour of the Pirates.
5-1 and a maximum win from Will Cairns and Poole Starke.
Will Cairns calling Poole Starke to follow him round.
Yes, that's an indication maybe of how things will pan out between the reserves as the meeting unfolds. A good one for the Pirates, and the two Pirate boys, they're celebrating their 5-1 advantage. Let's go to the official result for you and heat number 2.
Heat number 2 goes the way of the Pirates with a maximum win. First over the line in blue, Will Cairns.
So here's the official result of Heat 2. First over the line, the rider in blue, Will Cairns for the Pirates. He was followed home in red by his teammate Poole Starke. In third, in white, was Darryl RITCHINGS for the Gladiators, and at the back, not for the lack of trying, was the rider in yellow, Max Perry. So the result was a 5-1 heat advantage to the Pirates in Heat 2, with the match score after 2 heats, 8 to the Pirates, 4 to the Gladiators.
Heat 3, sponsored by Buyers Technology, offering complete warehouse management.
So good work from the Pirates reserves to get their team into an advantage at this early stage. And we move on swiftly to heat number 3. The 2-minute clock is running down. And first of all, the two Pirates out on track, with the Plymouth boys just making their way round to start at the moment. Interesting to see Will Cairns there making a decent start out of gate number 3. Max Perry on gate number 4 was with him on the way, but he couldn't quite keep it on, and Cairns and Starke got away to an advantage. Here's your lineup for Heat 3.
So, sponsored by BIS Technologies. In gate 1, in white, is Ben Barker, captain of the Gladiators. Gate 2, in blue, is Zach Cook for the Pirates, captain of the Pirates. In gate 3, in yellow, Joe Thompson for the Gladiators. In gate 4, in red, Louis Kerr for the Pirates.
Heat 3 statistics, 10 matches here at the stadium, and as you can see, most of the advantages are going the way of the Pirates. Some shared heats, but nothing for the Pirates visitors to be looking for in this one at the moment. It could change, couldn't it, in the blink of an eye. 60 seconds of racing and that will all change around.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go then. Takes her up and away we go. It looks a very even start here. Round the outside comes Lewis Kerr of Ben Barker. Ben Barker's in second. Zach Cook in third. And at the back is Joe Thompson. Zach Cook having a good look at Barker up the inside.
So Kerr leads it out. Good start from gate number 4. It's Barker now under pressure from Pirates captain Zach Cook. Which way is he going to try and attack Barker? Is he going to go wide and drop it under? Well, at the moment, it looks like Barker's got enough speed to hold Zach Cook off, although Cook's looking for a run around the outside, and he seemed to get caught up in some loose stuff there, which halted his momentum somewhat. The race is still on with Kerr at the front, Barker and Cook doing the business with 1 lap to go.
Yeah, it's still Louis Kerr out front. Zach now trying a bit of something around the outside. He'll give it one big blast around the outside. Barker's looking over his shoulder, but it's red, white, blue and yellow as they come over the line. It's a win for the rider in red, Louis Kerr, for the Pirates. Really has found a bit of form, Louis Kerr, home here in the last few weeks.
Yep, absolutely right, Scotty. He has dialed himself into Wimborne Road. Took a few weeks, but he currently is in a good drain of form here, and he takes the applause of people in the grandstand around the first and second bend. We ought to say a very well done to all the Plymouth fans who are here tonight. They brought up a great contingent from Devon, the Bar Bandits in their normal yellow contingents outfits. They're here and supporting their team as well as they always do. Let's go to the official result then in heat number 3.
So here's the heat number 3 official result. It's a win for Louis Kerr in red for the Pirates. In second in white was Ben Parker. He picks up a couple of points. In third in blue was the pool captain Zach Cook, and in the back in yellow was Joe Thompson for the Gladiators. A 4-2 heat result score was the result of heat 3, taking the match score after 3 heats, 12 to the Pirates, 6 to the Gladiators.
2 minutes now for heat number 4.
Positive start for the Pirates, which is exactly what they would have been looking for as we move towards race number 4. 2-minute time allowance is ticking down, and it's a chance for us to have the first look at the number 5 riders on each side. Anders Rowe for the Pirates, Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators. And I don't know about you, Scotty, but I love watching Scott Nicholls when he comes to Poole. He's 100% trier in every race, a nicest bloke as well, and fantastic to have him. Here comes your official lineup for the heat number 4.
So, sponsored by Top Class Consultancy. In gate 1 in yellow, Darryl RITCHINGS for the Gladiators. Gate 2 in blue, Will Cairns for the Pirates. Gate 3 in white, Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators. And in gate 4 in red, Anders Rowe for the Pirates. Yeah, I can only reiterate what you said, Rob. I think Scott Nicholls is great to have back in the sport. We love to have him here in the championship. Great to see him back from injury. Yes, he's in his infancy again, coming back. Probably not quite yet a full race fitness, but he's quite a fit lad anyway, isn't he? For his age, he keeps going and going.
Yes, he certainly does, and great to see him back racing again and giving so much to British Speedway, both on and off the track.
Like a good one from Cairns again on the inside. Scott Nicholls going around the outside of him. Anders Rowe going around the outside. 2 of Cairns, and now he's in second.
Yeah, Scotty Nicholls there just drifting away to the dirt line on the outside, picks up lots of drive, and he's heading for home, no doubt about it. Anders Rowe for the Pirates in second place, closing in very slightly, but Scott Nicholls, with all his experience, he's got this one under control. Third place, Will Cairns, he's tucked in nicely there, but we're watching Scott Nicholls and that super smooth style that he has. Anders Rowe again keeping the pressure on, but with a lap to go, Nicholls has got this one fairly well safely done.
Yeah, looks like he's got it well under control out front. Superstar from Scott Nicholls, got over the top of Cairns, who made a good one. It's white, red, blue and yellow as they come over the line.
Gladiators crossing the line first in heat number 4 for a heat win for the rider in white, Scott Nicholls.
You have to say Scott Nicholls knows this place like the back of his hand. Started his career down here at Poole. Had a whale of a time here.
There he goes back in the pits. Paul Hurry, the man on the spanners as always, and we'll come to the official result for you in heat number 4 in just a second.
16.78 seconds. Second in red for the Pirates, Anders Rowe. Third in blue, Will Cairns, and fourth in yellow, Darryl RITCHINGS. 3 to each side.
So here's the official result of heat 4. It's a win for Scott Nicholls in white for the Gladiators. Second in red was Anders Rowe for the Pirates. Third, followed down by his teammate in blue, was Will Cairns. And at the back was Darryl RITCHINGS in yellow for the Gladiators. 3-all was the result and heat score of heat 4. And after 4 heats, it's 15 to the Pirates, 9 to the Gladiators.
Yes, the positive start the Pirates were looking for. Here's a repeat for you of heat number 4 starts. And as the tapes go up, you can see Scott Nicholls has made the best of that one, moves to the outside, cuts off the potential run of Anders Rowe around the outside. He had a little bit of a private battle himself with Darryl RITCHINGS around the first 2 corners, but with Rowe out in the dirt, he comes around his outside with his partner Cairns, and then the boys just settled together for a 3-3. But Scotty's out front, showing all the style of all those years. There's Tobias THOMSEN in the pits, just collecting his thoughts. He didn't have a very good first ride under his own sort of high standards. He'll be looking to put that right.
Thank you, Lee, and great to hear so many people celebrate.
And Louis Kerr there, just getting himself back together. He's out, of course, in the next heat. There's some track grading going on at the moment. And Louis Kerr and Zach Cook, the Pirates pairing, they'll be coming out against Plymouth 1 and 2, Dan Thompson, Lasse FREDRIKSEN. There goes the tractor, round and round he goes.
He apparently lives for his beloved Poole Speedway, and he's been attending.
Scotty, we had
40 years.
a Grand Prix at the weekend. Did you catch up with them?
I was actually working. I was doing my other day job, which is the darts commentary. So no, I didn't catch any of Saturday's Grand Prix, but I did catch, obviously, the final where I saw our old boy Brady Kurtz bring it home for the 3rd time in a row.
Yeah, just what I was going to say. Former Pirate, of course, and of course a former Plymouth Devil back in the day. So he's been grounded in the right tracks, hasn't he? But isn't he doing so well this year with his starts in the Grand Prix? And I think, if I'm right, he's either 2 or 3 points behind Schmarslick at the top of the table. And that's going to be a run to the death, isn't it, when they finish off their Grand Prix seasons over the course of the next month or so. Tractor's just about to head into its tractor bay, so that means we'll be back on with the racing fairly shortly. Hopefully you've got pictures from the pit area. Here in our commentary booth, we are just a little bit light on signal at the moment, so hope that Beth with the camera is able to give you some shots of what's happening. Looks like we're over on the Plymouth side at the moment, getting the Gladiators prepped up, ready to go. So here we are, we've got Louis Kerr in shot, just making his way towards the gate. Winner first time out from the outside starting position. He swaps over this time. He moves to the inside berth on gate number 1. 2-minute time allowances are running down, counting down gradually. And that looks like about 80 seconds left to go. So plenty of time for everybody as they approach the tapes to find their ideal slot. We'll give you the full and official running order in Heat 5.
So, sponsored by Trethowens is Heat 5. On the inside in Gate 1 in red is Louis Kerr. He won first time out. Gate 2 in yellow, Lasse FREDRIKSEN for the Gladiators. Gate 3 in blue, Zach Cook for the Pirates. And on the outside in white for the Gladiators, their guests for the evening, Dan Thompson.
Yeah, Dan Thompson, of course, is a former Gladiator because he rode down there before he moved on to pastures new at Glasgow. So he's got some allegiances, of course, to the Devon faithful, and with his brother also in the side down there, he'll know the ins and outs of Plymouth Speedway better than most. He's certainly come on leaps and bounds over the last couple of years, and just a couple of injury niggles have held him back a little bit, but he's here at Poole tonight doing a sterling job.
Zach Cook looks to have made a good one, but on the outside is Dan Thompson. He's come round the 2 Pirates for the Gladiators. Now he had a good ride in Heat 1, but lifted on turn 4.
Yeah, brilliant first corner there for Thompson to run it right into the dirt and power his way around the Pirates boys. So the action at the front is pretty safe for Thompson, but in second and third, or third and fourth I should say, it's Louis Kerr under pressure from Lasse FREDRIKSEN. So whilst Dan Thompson is away with clear air in his goggles, it's the positions 3 and 4 that we need to be looking at, and it's Fredriksson trying to put the squeeze on to Louis Kerr, but at the moment Kerr's holding firm.
Yeah, it's Dan Thompson out front. He's looking very assured there, waiting for the Gladiators. And at the back is where all the action is. Big one around the outside, coming up the inside. And I think the Gladiators got it there.
And I'll agree with you there, Scotty. I think they did.
I think Lasse FREDRIKSEN got him. I'm going to say white, blue, yellow and red is the race result. It's unofficial, but I think Lasse got up there for the Gladiators to make that a 4-2.
Yeah, hats off to Lasse. He kept Kerr under pressure all the way, and on the last 2 bends there, he did a little switch back, and I think he took Kerr by surprise there. So I agree with you, Scotty. We'll wait for the official result, but I think that one's gone the Gladiators' way. Here it comes on screen now, your official result.
Yeah, and indeed we were right. It's a win for Dan Thompson. He takes the 3 points for the Gladiators. In second, in blue, was Zach Cook for the Pirates. In third, in yellow, he did get up for third, was Lasse FREDRIKSEN for the Gladiators. And in fourth, in red, was Lewis Kerr for the Pirates. So the result of Heat 5 is a 4-2 heat advantage in the favour of the Gladiators. They cut the deficit. 17 now to the Pirates, 13 to the Gladiators, and you can see just there, he's half a wheel up as the line comes.
Yes, good work from Lasse FREDRIKSEN, and Louis Kerr will be disappointed with that one because he looked safe for 3 3/4 laps, and then all of a sudden it went pear-shaped on the last corner.
Number 6 sees Max Perry taking the place of Darryl RITCHINGS, their reserve switch. So in red, in heat number 6, from gate number 2, Richard Lawson.
So as you can see there, it's a change for the rider in yellow. It's Max Perry coming in to replace his reserve partner Darryl RITCHINGS, and we'll give you the full lineup across the gate just like this.
So here we go. It's heat number 6, sponsored by Pirate Cast. In the inside, in white, winner first time out, Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators. In gate 2, in red, also winner first time out, Richard Lawson for the Gladiators. Gate 3, in yellow, for the Gladiators, Max Perry. And in gate 4, in blue, for the Pirates, Tobias THOMSEN. Now Tobias was trying a new engine in his first heat, I know that. He was telling me in the pits before the start. He has a new engine to try here for the end of season, not being happy with his speed of his equipment and pace of his equipment so far in 2025. So trying something different, so brought another engine over with him this week. Tobias Thompson did the big stuff around the outside. Oh, he's locked up on turn 2 by the pit gate. That lets Nicholls up the inside. But it's Lawson out front in red. Nicholls in second, Thompson third.
Yeah, Tobias Thompson there was flying around the first 2 bends, but a lock up allows Scotty Nicholls to get into second place. And he's now trying to pursue Richard Lawson, but to get Lawson from behind on this track is quite a mean feat. No doubt Scotty will be doing his best to do it. They head down the back straight, just out of shot. Thompson and Perry are still line astern there, so looks like advantage Pirates with a lap to go.
Nicholls not making any inroads on Lawson out front, but Lawson's not dropping him either. They look identical speeds. It's all about who got round the first corner. Tobias Thompson in third, but it's red, white, blue and yellow as they come over the line.
Making it 2 out of 2. 2 races on the bounce and 2 race wins for Richard Lawson.
The Rocket Man and Elton John goes over the tannoy here. Can only mean one thing. To win for the rider in red, Richard Lawson.
And there you can see the riders just wheeling their machinery, or the mechanics doing so, bringing back into pits. And Richard Lawson there just dismounting after another successful ride. Let's cross to the graphics and we'll be bringing up the official result for you, heat number 6.
So here we go, the official result of heat 6. It's a win for Richard Lawson in red for the Pirates. Second in white, Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators. Third in blue, Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates. And at the back in yellow was Max Perry for the Gladiators. It was a 4-2 heat advantage to the Poole Pirates was the result of heat 6. Taking the match after 6 heats, 21 to the Pirates, 15 to the Gladiators. I think the Gladiators will be pleased to be keeping it tight as they have up to now, Rob. With them keep scoring 52 points at home, they will be backing themselves at home to take the bonus point, won't they?
Certainly, as it stands at the moment, Scotty, that's very much the case. They're 6 down, but there's not a lot in it really. They've done well to contain the Pirates after that early salvo, and now looking to try and claw a little bit back on that 6 points deficit. We are, of course, in tactical territory, and we understand that there's going to be a tactical ride in this one.
Scott Nicholls from gate number 4. Scott Nicholls in yellow, and he'll be accompanying the Gladiators captain in white from gate number 2, Ben Barker.
Yeah, so Scott Nicholls will be coming straight back out. Now that's a good move, I think, from Garry May. He knows gates 3 and 4 have been working the best this evening.
But he's rolling the dice early, Scotty. It's often until after heat 8 or so that tacticals are deployed. But given the opportunity, Gary's going to roll the dice and try it here.
Well, he's shrewd because he knows that Anders Rowe is on the inside gate. No wins have come from there just yet. All the wins have come from gate 3 and 4. He's got Starke on the inside of Scott Nicholls, who you would fancy Scott Nicholls to outstart Poole Starke, surely. So it's a clever, clever move. He knows that the Pirates' main man in this race is on a gate that hasn't seen any wins. So I think that's why he's gone early. Good tactical move, I think, from Garry May.
Yeah, we said earlier on that if there's a man for the tactics, it's Garry, and he's gone early, and you can fully understand why, following Scott's explanation there, of why Gary's done that. So it does set us up for an exciting race, no doubt about it. Anders Rowe with a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, but could it be one of those situations where Poole Starke pulls a rabbit out of the hat and does the business for his side in one shape or another? But on paper, you'd say your money's probably on white and yellow in this one. But Speedway's a funny old sport, really, and all sorts of other things happen along the way. So let's see what happens when we go racing in heat number 7. And it's going to keep the fans here in the stadium certainly on the edge of their seats. Here's your lineup.
So here's the lineup for heat 7. Sponsored by Wessex Marine. In gate 1 in red is Anders Rowe for the Pirates. In gate 2 in white is Ben Barker for the Gladiators. Gate 3 in blue is Poole Starke for the Pirates. And on the outside, busy man already, in yellow is Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators.
Yeah, no doubt about Scotty's fitness, is there? They've asked him to do a lot of work in 7 races. To run 3 of 7 if you're carrying an injury would be difficult, so they must feel that Scott is okay, and he himself, of course, must feel okay.
Here we go from heat 7, and Nicholls has made it, and Barker's gone with him. Rowe has been penned on the inside. Barker's lifted and gone wide. Rowe's now lifted and gone into Barker almost. Barker is absolutely flat out into that top turn and goes down. I'm sure the race will be stopped in the interest of safety.
Nasty
flew
fall.
in, didn't he? He flew into that turn 3, picked up a lot of grip.
Right.
Tank slapped about twice before it spat him off.
Well, with Anders Rowe also untidy, shall we say, going into bend number 3, would that have affected Barker's entry into the corner? I don't know. We may need to see a rerun, but we won't do that until Ben Barker is confirmed as being okay. And at the moment, Ben is on the track being attended to by the paramedics.
Yeah, not good news for the Gladiators fans. Barker is not yet up.
But you've got to say that he did a great job in that first stage in there, because he gated over Anders Rowe. Scotty Nicholls had gated from the outside, and it looked as if the Gladiators might have been on for a 5-1 situation. But then we had that drag race down the back straight, Barker and Rowe, and then the incident on bend number 4. So we keep our fingers crossed for Ben. He's a 100% trier and a key member of the Gladiators setup. But he's a bit of a rubber ball. He does bounce back quite easily, and let's hope that he's okay to carry on in a little bit later on. The paramedics still down with him at the air fence on bend number 4 at the moment, and bike going back to the pits with mechanic Mark Simmons on board, and as you can see, Garry May, the team manager, marching across the centre green, no doubt to see how his charge is getting on. He's a little bit prone down on the track at the moment still. He's receiving attention from the medical crew. Our fingers crossed for him.
Libby Kerr there having a chat with George Goodwin, mechanic of Zach Cook. Tobias Thompson there heading back to his own pit bay. Looks like turning the wheel there. Has there been a sprocket change on Tobias Thompson's bike? Not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think they've just moved the sprocket on Thompson's bike there, Scotty. It looked as if Neil was putting on a new cog there, so obviously they feel that there's a bit of adjustment required. Rowe and Starke there, the Pirates who were involved in that incident. We're still waiting on official word from the referee's box on the outcome of that one. As soon as we get it, of course, we'll convey it over to you. Meantime, just a view there of the pits area with riders and mechanics relaxing in some cases, prepping in others, and watching from the gallery in other cases.
Yeah, the guys up there on the gallery, Lawson, Cook and Cairns, having a look to see what's going on.
And the sad news is that the ambulance is just about to enter the circuit.
Yeah, not good news. So the ambulance coming on out. I can see that Ben Cook is sat up on the track. Ben Barker, sorry. Because we were looking at Zach Cook. I mentioned Cook. Many apologies for that. And here come the emergency services. Never good at all. The machine examiners are cruising. They have taken the crash helmet of Barker and they're now returning with it across centre green.
Which I think means that if Ben has to go in the ambulance, then his helmet has to travel with him under the regulations.
Ah, well, I didn't know that, so fair play to you, Rob.
I wouldn't put my mortgage on it, but I do believe that that is a situation. And applause as Ben Barker's on his feet, and being helped back into the ambulance. He's one tough cookie, and there's no doubt about it. If he can get out racing again this evening, he will do. But we keep our fingers crossed for Ben and hope that it's just a winding at this stage and nothing too serious.
Yeah, it's a massive blow for the Gladiators to have Ben on the floor. He's one of the riders that probably needed to be going super well for the Gladiators to stay tight here with the Pirates. And we can see Anders Rowe slightly out of control, had to pull a big slider on, but there's Ben, picks up out of balance, picks up again on a full locker, and then the bike just launches him, off he goes, and he does actually go head first into the deck. Nasty looking incident there.
So we can confirm that the referee has looked at the footage, and it's the rider in white who will be disqualified from the restart. So that's poor old Ben Barker, who took that horrible tumble. He's disqualified from the restart. So it's 3 riders only when we get going again for heat number 7. That's disappointing from a Plymouth point of view. Their tactical option being used in heat 7 and now negated by that fall. And just to tell you at the moment that the ambulance is still parked in a very awkward position across the track. No doubt they're inside examining Ben and giving him the greatest care possible. Really horrible to see incidents like that at any speedway track, but again we've got to commend the airbag and the air safety fence there, the APD as it's known. It obviously helped Ben a little bit, although he was spectacular in the way that he headed into it. And it does make you wonder if those barriers hadn't been devised, invented and brought into play, just how many more serious accidents would have taken place. So as we pan to the grandstand, and Beth has got the mobile camera on, I can tell you that we're going to look at a replay there, and Scotty Nicholls away first, Ben Barker holding Anders Rowe down the inside, and then side by side down the back straight. Rowe lifts a little bit, Barker looks to be okay there, but all of a sudden finds some grip and away the bike goes. Ben tries to control it, hold it in place, but the bucking Bronco has taken over, and over the top goes Ben, and that's a nasty face plant onto the circuit. So the ambulance now back in the right direction, heads back at snail's pace to the pits. Richard Lawson there in discussion with the Pirates team manager Neil MIDDLEDITCH. Lawson with 2 wins under his belt so far. And so whilst we've got this slight delay in racing, let's bring you some past action on video.
In gate 1, Witchford Darmid in yellow for the Cheetahs. Gate 2, Tobias THOMSEN in blue for the Pirates. Gate 3 is Zane Kennedy for the Cheetahs, the guest in white. And in gate 4 in red is the Rocket Man Richard Lawson for the Pirates. Yeah, very close together, Darmid and Thompson. Lawson from around the outside makes it, McDermott drifts right. Tobias Thompson comes up the inside of him. So as we go into turn 3, it's red, white, blue and yellow at the back.
And to head over the start-finish line, Mitch McDermott tries the big dive up the inside of Tobias Thompson for 3rd place. He doesn't make it. So Pirates sitting on a heat advantage at the moment. Thompson goes to the wide outside. He's got McDermott half-track trying to chase him down, but he's not going to do it. And if anything, Thompson is getting ahead now and putting some power on for Zane Kennedy, who's in 2nd place. The Donut King, well, what's he going to do this time round? He's a little bit wild. but it doesn't look any different. He's going to bomb inside Glenn Kennedy. Kennedy opens up the throttle and keeps it in the dirt. Well done to Kennedy, did well there. Tobias Thompson still working overtime. Can he hold on? He hits a lump. Over the line they come. Red, white, blue and yellow. And I was Nick Scotty's commentary for the last lap, but I hope you don't mind.
You got too excited there, mate. What a race. What a race. Tobias Thompson tried everything he knew. The win for Richard Lawson in the red for the Pirates. In the white and looking quick was Zane Kennedy for the Cheetahs. He was in second place. In third was Tobias Thompson in blue, who was giving it everything. 10 in gate 1, Witchford Darmid in yellow for the Cheetahs.
Week here in that exciting, some say controversial meeting against the Oxford Cheetahs. They're back again next week, I think it is, in the BSN Trophy, so more fireworks to be assured. So it looks like we're ready to go racing again. Just before we do that, can I just give a shout out to Michelle Tucker and family over there in Spain. Yeah, we noticed that you were missing tonight, Michelle, but we know why you're over there, enjoying your holidays. Give you a shout out. I hope you have a great time. And of course, I think there's a birthday coming up very soon as well. So happy birthday for that. And you say that you think the Pirates will take this one. Well, let's hope that they do, if you're of Poole persuasion. 2 minutes is on, and the riders are returning to track for heat number 7.
Thank you, Lee. We are now under 2 minutes for the restart of heat number 7. Anders Rowe and Paul Starke coming back to the line along with Scott Nicholls. Ben Barker unfortunately disqualified for being the cause of the stoppage, and we're hoping that we'll get better news from the pits area once he's been assessed.
So Scotty is first up to the line there, and he made a great one from gate number 4 last time out before the race was stopped, and he'll be looking to do exactly the same again. Here goes with the rerun and the riding lineup.
Here we go then, heat number 7, the rerun. In on the inside in red, Anders Rowe for the Pirates. No rider in the white position in gate 2. Gate 3 in blue, Poole Starke for the Pirates. And in gate 4 in yellow, Nicholls, Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators. So what looked a good situation for the Gladiators to pull some points back with a tactical substitution early, as now looks like a damage limitation job for Scott Nicholls. He has to ride like the wind and get out front, but the good news for him is gate 4 has been absolutely superb for that so far this evening. And up go the tapes and away we go, and Nicholls has made it across Anders Rowe. Those two are out front. Poole Starke follows up in blue in third. But it's all about Scott Nicholls now, and now Anders Rowe. Can Rowe get on time with Nicholls?
And Scotty Nicholls there is riding like the consummate professional that he is. Just on the edge of the dirt line, bringing the bike round nice and tidy, down the home straight. Anders Rowe in pursuit. Rowe prefers that tight inside line. Nicholls moves away to the dirt on the outside and puts a little bit more advantage over him and Anders Rowe. They come off the car park bend with a lap to go, and Scott Nicholls looks to be home and hosed.
Yeah, Nicholls looks to have this one wrapped up in the bag, barring mechanical failure. He's using the whole track. He knows the place like the back of his hand. It's a win for the tax sub in yellow, red and blue as they come over the line.
Great starting from position number 4, but again it looks like that inside box, gate number 1, is proving a little bit tricky whenever you get in there. It doesn't really give you much drive to the first bend, and if you're looking to get to the dirt on the outside line, you've really got to be on it. So back into pits they go, and there's a time for the official result of heat number 7, and it comes up on screen very shortly.
1.10 seconds. The two Pirates following him in red. Anders Rowe finished second, Poole Starke finished third.
So here we go then, it's a win for the rider in yellow, Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators. In second place in red, Anders Rowe for the Pirates. In third, Paul Starke in blue for the Pirates. And obviously Barker unfortunately didn't start as was excluded. So Heat 7 result is a 3-all draw, meaning after 7 heats the match score 24 to the Pirates, 18 to the Gladiators. They're keeping it within 6.
Yes, they are. Their tactical option, of course, has now expired because of what happened there in race number 7. So back to Garry May, and his shrewd manoeuvrability of his reserve riders now is going to be a key factor in how the meeting unfolds. And we can tell you that away from the team meeting that's taking place there on screen, the tractor is out pulling a little bit of the shale into a tidier place, and I think we'll also be having the water bowser do a lap or two of the circuit once the tractor grading has taken place. There we are, that's the Plymouth side of the pits. Garry May looking at the screen, Lasse FREDRIKSEN as well. They'll be seeing the same pictures as you do, and visiting teams to Poole are lucky to have the facility of Pirates TV to watch in the pits area. If they prefer to watch the racing that way, then certainly they're very welcome to do so. They probably haven't got any sound on, so we've saved them that problem.
Well, it makes us safe. If there's no sound, we can say what we want.
Only nice things. We wouldn't say anything nasty about anybody.
Absolutely. If you could have a look at the ticker across the bottom, the copyright of tonight's screen is owned by Pirates TV. Any reproduction, sharing, posting or illegal distribution of any content with any form without permission will result in your said account being removed. Please, please, please allow us to keep continuing to bring you the pictures that we are bringing you. Darren Barnett sent us a message, Rob, saying hi from Bulgaria. He's on his balcony in his obviously Maisonette chalet on holiday watching us. We are not jealous one iota, Daz. We're here with our jumpers on this evening. You've picked the right week to get away from the UK.
Yes, we spoke last week after the meeting. He told me that he was on his way to Bulgaria this week for the family for a nice holiday, and it's one of those destinations you don't always think about being a holiday hotspot, but it's certainly coming up in the rankings over the course of the last few years. So have a great time out there, my friend, and we'll look forward to seeing you back at Poole and down at Plymouth when you're finished your travels. So as promised, the water bowser is going to go and do a lap of the track. Whilst you're looking into the pits area of the Poole boys, we're going to switch to another race video.
Here's your lineup for Heat 6. In Gate 1 in red for the Pirates is Richard Lawson. In Gate 2 in white is Jonas Knudsen for the Cheaters. Gate 3 in blue is Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates. And on the outside in yellow, Luke Colleen for the Cheaters. Probably had the two best riders in the heat off the unfavoured gates. Takes her up and away we go. Colleen's made a good one from the outside. Lawson's on the inside and Tobias THOMSEN's following through. Colleen looks to be diving up the inside of Thompson. Thompson holds him off, cuts across him. Pirates in a 5-1 position.
Richard Lawson away at the front, but the action is with Tobias THOMSEN and Luke Colleen, and young Luke dive bombs Thompson down the inside. There could be trouble here, but Thompson winds it on around the outside, just gets his nose over in front of Luke Colleen. Great racing between these two, no quarter asked or given, and Colleen is still at it with Tobias THOMSEN in second place and Richard Lawson safe out the front. We lost Knudsen there with an engine problem, and Tobias THOMSEN has eyes in the back of his ears here because Luke Colleen's working in over socks.
With 3/4 of a lap to go, Colleen is still challenging Tobias THOMSEN. Thompson may have seen him off. Colleen's coming tight. It's red, blue, yellow as they come over the line, and white fails to finish. It's a win for the rider in red, Richard Lawson. In second, he's followed home by his partner, Tobias THOMSEN. In blue, in third was Luke Helene. In yellow.
So there we are, that's another video for you there. Tobias THOMSEN featuring all these by the look of it, and whereas the fact that he's just 100% trier, isn't he, and when he's out on track anything can happen. As you can see, the bowser's doing its bowsing, whilst in the pits area it's William Cairns there in the blue helmet colour. He's getting himself ready to go. On the screen you can see all the ways in which you can contact us and contact Poole Speedway, the good old World Wide Web, www.poole-speedway.com, facebook.com/Poole Pirates, x.com, formerly Twitter of course, /Poole Speedway, instagram.com/Poole Speedway, and if you want to use the email, it's info@poole-speedway.com. All probably too quick for you to take down, but rest assured, look on the social medias and you'll find a route into Poole Speedway, whether that be the official channels or the unofficial channels, and hit us here on Pirates TV. Always welcome to send us a message, and we'll do our best to either respond to you or take on board what you're telling us. So there we are, that's the pits area, pits view from our camera down there in pit lane. Sad news that Ben Barker will officially withdraw from the meeting going forward. So that's going to be two races that the Gladiators will have to cover on IRR at the Injured Rider Replacement Facility. And again, the tactical nous of Garry May will come into play in how he covers Ben's two rides.
Just had my... Seems that Barker is on a potential shoulder issue, is what we're hearing from the pits. Just had a message from Gary Havelock. Havy, hope you're well, my friend. I know you're avidly watching the Pirates when you're at home. We know even if you're not here, you're with us in heart and soul. We love you to bits, mate. Can't wait to see you down here this year. Say hello.
And can I just say hello to Julie Miles back there in Saskatchewan in Canada. Was here for the last few home meetings, but now back in Canada. And great to have you watching in, as always, Julie. And cheer those Pirates on. You're doing a great job over there, miles and miles away. Here's your lineup then for heat number 8.
So, heat number 8, mentioning Havy, sponsored by the Bournemouth Betting Centre, our friends. Gate 1 in blue is Will Cairns for the Pirates. Gate 2 in yellow, Darryl RITCHINGS for the Gladiators. Gate 3 in red, Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates. And in gate 4 in white is Lasse FREDRIKSEN for the Gladiators. 6 points the lead for the Pirates, 24 against 18 after 7 heats.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens between Thompson and FREDRIKSEN. They're both 100% triers. They go for 4 laps every race. And of course, FREDRIKSEN was the beneficiary of a smart move earlier in the meeting when he pipped Louis Kerr right on the line. So he won't be giving any quarter, and I'm sure Tobias THOMSEN won't be either. So here we go, riders rolling into place for heat number 8.
And away we go, and it looks a good one on the outside from the rider in white. It was a good one on the inside from Cairns as well. They all got together.
And they all came tumbling down. It's Will Cairns' good start from the inside. Tobias THOMSEN racing elbow to elbow with Darryl RITCHINGS there, and Lasse FREDRIKSEN getting a little bit out of shape in amongst all the carnage. So let's hope Darryl's okay. Not going the way of the Gladiators in terms of riders off tonight so far, but looks to be up on his feet, just getting his Kevlar's straightened out, and so we're told an all-4 restart has been called. So good to see Darryl up. he's built up quite a fan club here at Poole in the time that he was here. And many people, of course, are hoping that one day he'll come back and be a pirate in the future.
It was definitely one of those full commitment type corners, wasn't it? And a couple getting there at the same time. Some chain adjustments there going on to Tobias Thompson's machinery.
I've got to say, in the first running there, I thought Lasse FREDRIKSEN had actually got the best of the jump and was going to come across Thompson, but they seemed to pick up speed more or less at the same time, and into the first corner they went, and with Will Cairns on the inside and Darryl RITCHINGS, the meat in the sandwich almost. It was inevitable it was going to be one of those all four, and back we go.
Yeah, the gate stats for the first 7 heats kind of read 4 wins from gate 4, 2 wins from gate 3, 1 win from gate 2.
Advantage outside gates, no doubt about it there.
It was very similar last week, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it seems that riders off those inside gates find it hard to get to the first corner as quickly as those coming from the outside gates. Whether they get the outside gates pick up more speed and get there more quickly, I'm not sure. But yeah, inside gates are tricky, there's no doubt about it.
And going forward, it looks like in heat 9, the Gladiators have 2 and 4, and heat 10, the Gladiators have 2 and 4. So if it is seen to be an advantage, the Gladiators need to take advantage of it while they have it.
There we go.
Yeah, they have it 3 races in a row. They have it in heat 8 as well.
Joe Thompson with his back to us, and I can't remember when the last time Joe would have been taken out of a heat for a tactical substitute. He's been going so well this year that it can only have been back when he was a reserve. But Garry May threw his dice, and it was Joe who was asked to stand down. And they're talking with Max Perry, and Max, he too is having a difficult night with 2 rides and no score yet. So here we are. Say hello to the camera. I'm sorry if we tend to waffle on a little bit, but when we've got a break in the racing like this, well, we do have to try and fill it in with something. And later on, we will, of course, be bringing you the country file forecast and probably weather for the weekend.
Yeah, and your darting pleasure at the weekend if you're lucky. Yeah, you know, we have had breaks through broken tracks and things like that for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm sure that's not going to be the case on this occasion. And it's not looking that way as Will Cairns gets a bump start in the pits, and he wants to head round to get a bit of Alan Titchmarsh gardening done at the gate.
So a more positive evening for Will Cairns, with paid 5 under his belt from 2 outings so far, and he's going to be coming up to tapes this time on one of the more tricky gates, gate number 1, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do from there. Lasse FREDRIKSEN and Tobias THOMSEN just arriving into position. They'll do their digging for victory, and we'll reprise the lineup for you for heat number 8.
So here we go then, heat number 8, sponsored by the Bournemouth Betting Centre. Gate 1 in blue, William Cairns. And gate 2 in yellow will be Darryl RITCHINGS when he gets back round here. Gate 3 in red will be Tobias Thompson for the Pirates. And in gate 4 in white will be Lasse FREDRIKSEN.
So here comes Darryl, just finding his way back up to the tapes. Hopefully he's okay after the tumble, straightened out the equipment and ready to go racing for those Gladiators again. And the countdown clock runs to 13 seconds and less now for heat number 8.
Here we go with heat 8, and Lasse has definitely made a better start on the outside. Cairns gets her at the same time with him on the inside. Starke comes round the outside of Darryl RITCHINGS, and now they're all in chase of Lasse FREDRIKSEN out front.
And Lasse's got Cairns on the inside. He's got Tobias THOMSEN trying to get past Cairns. I think if Cairns let him through, then he'd be able to put the squeeze on FREDRIKSEN, but it's not the way of the world at the moment. And unfortunately, it's Darryl RITCHINGS who's tailed off at the back. So it looks like it's going to be a shared heat. Lasse FREDRIKSEN doing a grand job for the Gladiators out front. Pirates in second and third, all a bit messy really, they're not particularly tidy. Darryl RITCHINGS out the back, but looking to make hay if either of the Pirates fall foul of things.
So as they come to the line, it's white, blue, red and yellow. It's a 3-all heat score. The Gladiators keeping this meeting nice and tight. They'll be pleased with that. Here comes Lasse FREDRIKSEN in white to take the applause from the Pirates faithful.
Yep, well done to Lasse. He's moved down from Edinburgh over the winter to Plymouth, starting to pay off. A talented rider, now finding his best form at the Coliseum. So let's go to the official result of heat number 8, which was another drawn race, and we'll bring the graphic onto screen for you just now.
So here we go then. It's a win for the rider in white, Lasse FREDRIKSEN. He picks up the 3 points for the Gladiators. In second in blue, Will Cairns for the Pirates. In third in rider in red was Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates, and in fourth in yellow was Darryl RITCHINGS for the Gladiators. 3-all was the heat score of heat 8, and after 8 heats it's 27 to the Pirates, 21 to the Gladiators.
So on screen you've got the Pirates just coming out on track, and we're learning that there will be a change for the Gladiators. They switch their reserves around again, and Max Perry will be taking the ride in yellow in place of Darryl RITCHINGS.
Meanwhile, coming back to tapes for the Pirates in gate number 3.
You always have to bring a spare pen when Garry May's in town for your programme. Here we go then. It's heat 9. In memory of Ken Griffin, big Pirates fan. In gate 1 in blue, Zach Cook for the Pirates. In gate 2 in white, Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators. Gate 3 in red, Louis Kerr for the Pirates. And in gate 4 in yellow, Max Perry for the Gladiators.
Yeah, Scotty Nicholls, the key component in this race, you'd think. 3 races in, and he's got 8 points on the scoreboard already, and he's the man who's going to shoulder the responsibility for the Gladiators here against the engine room pairing of the Pirates, Cook in blue and Kerr in red. Everybody a little bit reticent to come towards the tapes to get going. The clock says 30 seconds, so you'd have thought that they would be happy to move up if they're all in readiness to go. They are now.
And away they go. Looks a good one off the inside from Zach Cook. He gets there. Nicholls is out in the dirt round the outside. Cook's going to have to go wide and squeeze him, but Nicholls makes it round the pit turn and down into turn 3. He takes the advantage.
Brilliant work from Scott Nicholls there to get the better of the Poole skipper He was left enough room by Zach Cook, which is good racing, but well, he didn't need a second invitation, did he? And through he goes to take up the position he's been in most of this evening at the front of the pack. Scott Nicholls leads it out from Zach Cook in second place, Louis Kerr in third, and Max Perry tailed off at the back. And we got Scott Nicholls on screen there, and the supremely stylish man comes over the line. He's got one to go and he's looking comfortable.
Yeah, Nicholls looks great out front, got round Zach Cook early doors and doesn't look to be headed. Cook still looks as quick as Nicholls in second place, but just can't get alongside. It's white, blue, red and yellow as they come over the line. It's another drawn heat and a 3-all heat score.
First over the line, taking his third race off the night, Scott Nicholls.
Yeah, great work from Scotty there, just running back towards pit lane now, and he's having a super evening, and it's interesting. We've got a build-up, of course, coming towards heat number 13 when we get the big guns out. Dan Thompson doing well as well this evening, so it's bubbling up nicely, and the Gladiators by no means out of it. Here comes your official result for heat number 9.
Yeah, it's a win for Scott Nicholls in white for the Gladiators. In second in blue is Zach Cook for the Pirates. In third in red was Louis Kerr for the Pirates, and at the back was Max Perry for the Gladiators. It's another drawn heat, 3-all, and after 9 heats, the match score 30 to the Pirates, 24 to the Gladiators. And you can see here from the start, I thought we were going to get a win from gate 1. Zach looked really good, got under Nicholls, but Nicholls went headed straight for the dirt. He was quite happy to compromise himself by a couple of bike lengths because he knew he could gain them round on the pit turn, and he was never headed again.
No, could have been squeezed up badly there by Zach Cook, but he was allowed racing room, and through comes Scotty to smell the fresh air. Well done to him. Heat number 10, and we're going to be looking for an injury rider replacement outing for the unfortunate Ben Barker, and as soon as we know what that is, I'm sure it will be on the graphic soon, we'll tell you. So the IRR ride, as you can see on the screen there, is going to be taken by Darryl RITCHINGS. Darryl RITCHINGS comes in, and your official lineup goes like this. So
here we go.
Over to you.
Here we go. The lineup for Heat 10. BERJ Digital are the sponsors. Gate 1, Tobias Thompson in blue. For the Pirates, Gate 2 in yellow, Joe Thompson. For the Gladiators, Gate 3 in red, Richard Lawson. For the Pirates, Gate 4 in white, Darryl RITCHINGS. For the Gladiators.
Yes, and we understand that the change for Ben Barker is a reserve change and not an IRR, so apologies for any confusion, but we have been updated that is the case. So reserve change in white there brings out Darryl RITCHINGS again. So again, the rider's just a little bit reluctant to move forward, but given a little bit of a pep talk by the start marshal, they're getting themselves ready to go.
So here we go then, riders all up at tapes. Our start marshal, Colin, is ready. Up go the tapes and away we go. And it's a quick one from Lawson, and he's followed round the inside by his partner. But round the outside comes Joe Thompson in white.
Which is at Darryl RITCHINGS, so bit of a surprise there that RITCHINGS gets in, but Tobias Thompson is the man with all the work to do. and Richards doing a great job for his side here. Out front is Lawson, he's gone no problem at all, but as you can see, Tobias Thompson is the man with the bit between his teeth, and he's trying to haul in the rider in white there, Darryl RITCHINGS, and we'll have to be careful as well because Joe Thompson in yellow, he's at the back at the moment, but he's not too far away, and if Thompson makes a mistake, he'll be snaffled up.
Yeah, it's Lawson out at the front. It's all about that last place now between Tobias Thompson and Joe Thompson at the back. Tobias having a real good go at Richards, but it's red, white, blue and yellow as they come over the line. It is a 4-2 advantage to the Pirates.
Yeah, and certainly one that you wouldn't have predicted ahead of the race, but Darryl RITCHINGS there finding the grip round the outside and getting himself into prime position ahead of Tobias Thompson, and as much as the Danish man tried his best, there was nothing there to help him, and RITCHINGS comes in with a valuable second place for the Gladiators. And as you can see, they're walking in there, and Joe Thompson a little bit down at mouth at the moment. He's not having one of his best nights, sadly. Here comes the official result.
So the official result of heat number 10 to win for Richard Lawson in red for the Pirates. In second, a fantastic ride for the rider in white, Darryl RITCHINGS. Mistaken I did for Joe Thompson. Do apologise to the Gladiators fans. In third, in blue, was Tobias Thompson. And at the back was Joe Thompson in yellow. So it's a 4-2 heat advantage, the result of heat 10. With the match score after 10 heats, 34 to the Pirates, 26 to the Gladiators. The Pirates eke out an 8 points lead.
And in replay here, you can see that Richard Lawson's away, but Darryl RITCHINGS in white, no fear there, out to the dirt, puts the motor down. Thompson looked over his right shoulder and he knew that RITCHINGS was there, but RITCHINGS had the speed and the power to overcome the Danish rider, and as much as Tobias Thompson threw the bike in to try and unsettle RITCHINGS, not to be, and the guest rider at reserve for the Gladiators tonight comes home with 2 valuable points for his side.
Yeah, Tobias Thompson doesn't mind it up close and personal, does he, when he's riding?
Number 2 for the Pirates, 2 second places so far.
They're going on to heat number 11 now, and perhaps the Gladiators will be quietly confident of something in this one, because out on track we've got a couple of their riders who've been very successful this evening, which Scotty will read out for you now.
So here we go with heat 11, sponsored by Link Fabrication. In gate 1 in white is Dan Thompson, the guest for the Gladiators. Gate 2 in red is Anders Rowe for the Pirates. Gate 3 in yellow is Lasse FREDRIKSEN for the Gladiators. And in gate 4 in blue for the Pirates, Poole Starke. And if he was watching that last race and seeing the way that RITCHINGS went out of gate 4, maybe he'll be looking to do a little bit of the same.
Heat number 11 here at the stadium, 10 matches gone, and as you can see, it tends to favour the visitors. 3 3s, 2 4s and 5 1s certainly put the onus or the benefit over on the Gladiator side if past history is anything to go for. The riders out there for the Gladiators certainly have the ability to upset Poole's apple cart here.
And away we go, and Starke has got a good one round the outside. Is he going to do that move? Yes, he is, right round the outside. Starke's out front, Anders Rowe at the back. It's now all about what can Anders Rowe do. Oh, Starke looks quick out front. Anders Rowe, he's alongside Lasse FREDRIKSEN.
Starke riding a blinder at the moment. Rowe nicks inside Lasse FREDRIKSEN. FREDRIKSEN tries to dive bomb him back. He's not going to make it. Starke remains in front. Dan Thompson closing every lap. Dive bombs up the inside. Works a treat, I would have thought. He just about got enough to get past Starke. So Dan Thompson having to resort to heavy tactics, but it worked for him. And now Lasse FREDRIKSEN is putting Rowe under pressure with a lap to go.
Yeah, a bit of a block pass there from Dan Thompson, but all safe and good. He gets past. And now we look for another one. Lasse FREDRIKSEN has come up the inside of Anders Rowe. It's tight. And I think there's going to be a bit of needle there. Anders Rowe comes back by FREDRIKSEN. I think we're going to have to keep an eye on this one.
Wowee. One of the races of the season here. Absolutely incredible. Rowe now having a word with FREDRIKSEN on the way back into the pits, but it is only words. Dan Thompson there doing a grand job for the Gladiators. He had to have the kahunas out for that one, and it just about got there and brought him home.
There's your rider and white race winner, Dan Thompson. Knew nothing about what was going on behind him. What a great move by him on Poole Starke, you have to say.
Yeah, where did Starke come from on the first lap? Round the boards. He's been watching Darryl Richardson, but Richings. But, well, get your breath back after that one, everybody. Go and have a cup of tea. Scotty, tell us what happened.
Wow, here's the result of the official result of Heat 11. It was a win for Dan Thompson in white for the Gladiators. Smart move by him on Poole Starke down on turn 2. It's second place for Poole Starke in blue for the Pirates. Third, and a very, very hard fought third from Anders Rowe in red for the Pirates. And at the back, the ever-battling Lasse FREDRIKSEN in yellow. It's a 3-all heat score, the result of Heat 11. And after 11 heats, it's 37 to the Pirates, 29 to the Gladiators.
Well, here we go. It's the last corner. Lasse FREDRIKSEN runs him up high, and Rowe doesn't like it, so he goes a bit higher, and round they come and over the line. Well, handshakes at dawn. Not handbags, handshakes.
I'm not sure they're on each other's Christmas card list come December.
Nah, they'll be all right. Round we go with the tractor and back into the pits with the camera. Danny Ford there contemplating what's happening, and I'm certain he'll be looking for more, to be perfectly honest, because at the moment 8 points going to the Coliseum is going to be squeaky bum time for the Pirates. Can they extend that lead? Can the Gladiators tighten it up with Dan Thompson to come twice, Scotty Nicholls to come twice? You've got a feeling that the Gladiators will be feeling modestly confident about keeping this one within a reasonable distance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they came with a slightly depleted side. They've got 3 guests, and they've done really well and made a real good fight of it. But this is the end of the meeting. They've got to keep this going if they're going to keep this to 8 points.
And to do it without Ben Barker, of course, for a couple of outings is all the more creditable.
Will be interesting to see who comes in to Heat 12 in replacement of Ben Barker.
And we're told that in Heat 12 the rider in yellow will be a reserve change, and Max Perry will take the ride. Max Perry will take the ride in yellow in Heat number 12. Now, it was interesting to see there the activities of Garry May working on his programme. Meanwhile, let's go to the team scores. Richard Lawson for the Pirates so far, 3 rides and 9 points. Tobias THOMSEN, he's done 4 rides, 3 and a bonus. Louis Kerr, 3 rides, 4 and a bonus. Zach Cook, 3 rides, 5 points. Anders Rowe, 3 rides, 5 points, 1 bonus. Poole Starke, 3 rides, 5 points, 2 bonus. And William Cairns, 3 rides, 6 points, 1 bonus. Over with the Gladiators, 3 rides and 8 points for Dan Thompson. Lasse FREDRIKSEN, 5 points, 1 bonus from 4 rides. Ben Barker, 2 points from 2 completed rides. Joe Thompson, no points from 2 completed rides. Scott Nicholls just dropped 1 so far, 11 points from 4. Darryl RITCHINGS, 3 points from 4 rides. And Max Perry, no score from 3. So interesting sort of way in which the meeting has panned out there. And the loss of Ben Barker is going to be highly influential on the outcome, I think, because with 2 rides lost to injury, then the Gladiators could well have done putting a few more points on the board if Ben had been here. In the pits there, conflab between the skipper, the team manager and the number 1. And as we look down the line, Louis Kerr in red, ready to go for heat number 12. Behind him, Will Cairns. Yep, he's also ready to go when the tractor has finished its duties, which it looks like it's done now, heading back into the pit bay. So the pit gate swings open. Riders are starting to appear as we're ready to go racing in heat number 12.
Yeah, another interesting stat, just having a little flick through the programme. It's 5 heat wins for the Pirates and 6 heat wins for the Gladiators this evening. So they have done a sterling job over the 11th heats.
Yeah, 4 heat wins for the Pirates and 7 for the Glads. Well, that's good going indeed. So we got the pool riders out on track, and they're doing their start gate preparations, and we're just waiting for the visiting Plymouth riders to emerge from the pit lane. And we're down to 1 minute 10 on the clock and counting.
We'll start from gate number 3, and in the yellow helmet colour on gate number 1, Darryl RITCHINGS.
So here we go then. It's the lineup for heat 12. Sponsored by Fry's Electrical Limited. In gate 1 in yellow is Darryl RITCHINGS. Have the riders gone in the wrong places there?
Well,
they're in the wrong places. They're changing them now. Yeah, it should be the rider in yellow on the inside. Max and Darryl are in the wrong gates, so they just swap over. Rider in yellow is Darryl RITCHINGS for the Gladiators. Doubted myself then, shouldn't have done. In gate 1, gate 2, Louis Kerr in red for the Pirates. Gate 3, it's the rider in white, which is Max Perry for the Gladiators. And in gate 4 in blue is Will Cairns for the Pirates. Louis Kerr flies out of the start in red for the Pirates, but bad news is Will Cairns is at the back. Max Perry and RITCHINGS filling in the middle too. And Will Cairns now starting to attack.
yeah, Kerr's okay at the front, no problem there. He's putting distance between himself and the other riders, but it's Will Cairns for the Pirates who has all the work to do as the Gladiator boys try to tidy themselves up and team ride a little bit on the way to heat number 12. Max Perry there, he's okay this time round. Darryl RITCHINGS in behind him, and it's Cairns who needs to find some drive to try and pull in those Plymouth boys. He is attacking, and Darryl RITCHINGS has gone really tight to the inside line here, and Cairns is the man trying to find a route through.
So as we come round to the line in the checker flag, it's red, white, yellow and blue as they go over the line.
Wave the flag for that one, and a Rocket Man style start for Louis Kerr.
And Louis Kerr comes round to receive the applause of the crowd. That's his second win of the evening. And that 8-point gap between the sides remains in situ.
It does indeed.
Let's bring up the official result for you on heat number 12.
So it's a win for the rider in red. It's Louis Kerr for the Pirates. In second in white was Max Perry for the Gladiators, looking much quicker in that one. In third in yellow was Darryl RITCHINGS for the Gladiators, and in fourth in blue Will Cairns for the Pirates. 3-all was the result of heat 12 as a heat score, and the match score after 12 heats: 40 to the Pirates, 32 to the Gladiators.
And on we go then to heat 13. One of the big guns will come out and do battle. And this time round, the Gladiators have girded their loins and sent out their two hotshot high scorers in Dan Thompson and Scott Nicholls. So Pirates have to fend off a very severe challenge this time round. And who better to be out there as one of your battling heroes, Richard Lawson in the red helmet colour. Here's your official lineup on heat 13.
Yeah, sponsored by Global Heating. In gate 1 in red is the Rocket Man Richard Lawson. Gate 2 in white, the guest for Gladiators, and what a guest he's been, is Dan Thompson. Gate 3 in blue, Anders Rowe for the Pirates. And in gate 4 in yellow is Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators. Gate 4 has been the favourite gate this evening, and if anybody can get the best out of gate 4, you can bet your bottom dollar it'll be that rider in yellow. It's Scott Nicholls, with all the experience he has here at Wimborne Road. It's the ones and the fives. We always look forward to heat 13. Unlucky for some, heat 13, but an absolute must for all Speedway fans.
So the riders are just about settled. We're down to less than 10 seconds on the countdown clock. Everybody rolls into position. Starting marshal is happy.
And it's a good start from Thompson out of gate 2, and he's out front, and gate 4 didn't work at all. Nicholls flies up the inside of Anders Rowe. They've been having a ding-dong all evening, those two, when they've been up against one another. So it's Thompson out front.
Doing a great job. He's got Lawson hot on his heels, and Scott Nicholls is gaining us a little bit as well. So Dan Thompson leads the Rocket Man, and he's looking good out front as well. Fast off the traps, and it's Lawson who's got all the hard work to do as he chases up from second place. Scotty Nicholls there running in third. Anders Rowe a little bit tailed at the moment. They come round Car Park Bend. 1 lap to go with Dan Thompson in pole position.
Yeah, Dan Thompson out front made a super start, didn't he? Kept himself out there. This is looking like a 4-2 to the Gladiators. Garry May will be pleased with this one. It's a win for the rider in white, red, yellow and blue as they come over the line.
Yeah, look, Garry will be happy with that one.
A deathly silence here in the grandstand after heat 13.
Well, you could actually see it in the stars, if you like, that the Plymouth boys would hit back in that one. Richard Lawson didn't quite make the best of starts. Dan Thompson comes over and traps him, and that was the way it finished up. So Dan Thompson showing just why he's a Speedway Grand Prix 2 combatant in 2025. And an improving rider all round.
Yeah, he made a super move on Paul Starke a couple of heats earlier, and that he will be over the moon with. Oh yes, Matt Reed is a mechanic in his corner this evening. Here's your official result of heat 13, sponsored by Global Heating. It was a win for the rider in white, Dan Thompson. For the Gladiators, in second was Richard Lawson. For the Pirates, in third in yellow, Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators, and at the back, Anders Rowe in blue for the Pirates. 4-2 heat advantage was the result of heat 13 in favour of the Gladiators. So, after 13 heats, the match score 42 to the Pirates, 36 to the Gladiators. The Gladiators pegging back 2 points It's now a slender 6-point lead for the Pirates with 2 heats to go.
That's 42 to the Pirates, 36.
It sure is, and this Heat 14 brings together the number 4s from each side. Looking at the Plymouth scoreboard, well, it's Joe Thompson, and Joe hasn't registered a point, which is a big surprise this evening. For the Pirates, the number 4 rider is their skipper, Zach Cook, and your official lineup will tell you who's where and when in this particular race.
Partnered by the rider in blue, 5 points.
I'm with you. Heat 14, sponsored by Maidment Properties. Gate 1, the rider in white, Joe Thompson. Gate 2, the rider in blue, Poole Starke for the Pirates. Gate 3, in yellow, Darryl RITCHINGS for the Gladiators. He's been a busy guest tonight. And in gate 4, in red, Zach Cook for the Pirates.
Yeah, the Gladiators have picked wisely in amongst their guests this evening, because Dan Thompson at the top of the order has been doing a fantastic job, and Darryl RITCHINGS, who has gritted his teeth and got on with it from the reserve berth, showing plenty of fight and fire, and perhaps it's only Max Perry so far who has been slightly disappointing. But it is what it is, as they say, and we go on to the penultimate race here, heat number 14. Countdown clock's giving us just a minute left, and it's Joe Thompson who's doing all the gardening work there on the inside starting position. Joe's normally a very good starter, and he might fancy himself from that inside berth there. We'll soon see when the race gets underway.
Well, if he'd have watched Brother in his last one, I'm sure that they would have conflabbed on setups. Because Dan Thompson, the last couple, has looked pretty quick, and you can bet your bottom dollar he'll be out in heat 15 for the Gladiators. Heat 14. It's Joe Thompson off the inside. Poole Starke coming up the inside of him. Zach Cook was trying the big one round the outside, but that got closed off. Joe Thompson's out front now, trying to ride the Dan Thompson line.
Joe Thompson doing a delightful job here for the Gladiators. He's fending off both those Pirates. I think Zach Cook would like to be in second place to put a challenge on, but Poole Starke at the moment, he's holding his partner back, and although Starke's looking there to see where Cook is, well, it's a little bit too late, I'm afraid, because Joe Thompson head down and off into the sunset for the Gladiators this time round. 1 lap to go, and you can see this one being a shared race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's looking all together like another shared heat. Joe Thompson has found a line out there. What a start he made. Off the inside gate, we had commentated that he'd been gardening. It's white, red, blue and yellow as they come over the line.
Race victory in heat number 14 with Joe Thompson first over the line.
Yeah, good work there from Joe. He'd had a bit of a lacklustre night up until then, but gate number 1, we knew that he could make a good trap, and although Poole Starke tried to sneak in on the inside on the first bend, it didn't work. Zach Cook got blocked off coming down the back straight, and Joe brought it home.
In white, who took the checkered flag, Joe Thompson.
Here's your official outcome on race 14.
Yeah, here the winner in white was Joe Thompson this time for the Gladiators. In second in blue was Poole Starke for the Pirates. In third in red was Zach Cook, got squeezed out a little for the Pirates, and at the back was Darryl RITCHINGS in yellow for the Gladiators. 3-all was the heat score in heat 14, taking the match score after heat 14, 45 to the Pirates, 39 to the Gladiators.
And how important was it that Poole had choice of gates in heat number 15? It might just give them a little bit of an edge this time round, but the way in which those top two gladiators have been going, anything is possible here. Poole at least have secured the meeting win on the night, but the aggregate bonus point is really going to be hanging in the balance when the boys go off down to Plymouth on Saturday night. That'll be a fun-packed evening, and let's hope that we've got two full-strength sides, two 1-to-7s out there in the normal lineups, so that they can do battle down at the Coliseum. Going to be a big crowd in this evening. A lot of kids here, holiday time, holiday makers in the area and coming down to see the Speedway. And we hope that they've enjoyed the evening. It's been incident packed, as it always seems to be here at Poole over the last few weeks. We always have something going on that would be unexpected. And the Pirates, you've got to say, have always managed to come out of it with their noses in front, but it will have been squeaky bum time for several of the riders out there, and the management, of course, will be no doubt scratching their heads a little bit, thinking about what they do to top up the Pirates' performances as we head towards playoff time.
Yeah, indeed. And Heat 15, it looks like Joe Thompson and Scott Nicholls from that camera shot, to me, coming out in Heat 15.
I think it might be Dan Thompson.
Sorry, Dan. Yeah, they look very similar.
Well, I think they're twins, aren't they?
And when they're stood together, I still can't tell the difference.
Apparently, you've got to look at the boots. The colour of the boots tells you who's who. Don't ask me who's who, but apparently that's the giveaway. Anyway, what are we going to do here? Well, we can see that out on track, two Poole Pirates. Richard Lawson in shot there, just coming to get himself ready. And Louis Kerr to join him. So Pirates then on 2 and 4. And hopefully in just a moment or two's time, once the information has filtered into our editing suite, the riders will be up on screen in graphic form so that you can see officially who's doing what from where.
That looks like Thompson in yellow.
Here we are. This is what we've been waiting for. Scotty, take it away.
So, Heat 15, sponsored by Upright Scaffolding Services. It looks like Pirates have taken 2 and 4, not 1 and 3. So on the inside in gate 1 will be Dan Thompson. No, Gladiator Scott Nicholls is on the inside in gate 1 in white. In gate 2 in red is Richard Lawson for the Pirates. In gate 3 is Dan Thompson in yellow for the Gladiators, and in gate 4 in blue is Louis Kerr for the Pirates. Many apologies, folks, we got there in the end.
Yeah, we were hearing one thing in our ear and seeing another thing on the screen, so the confusion is our fault, but we do apologise, and we got it right in the end.
Pirates obviously chose 2 and 4. They had the choice with the Gladiators taking 1 and 3 early doors in the meeting, and we know from the gate stats probably 2 and 4 have been the more favourable of gates, although 3 has been good as well this evening. 1 has been a nightmare.
You just can't help but feeling that this is going to be a great race. You really got the feeling that those boys are going to be out there chucking it at each other in the fairest possible way to produce a great speedway race.
and away we go. And it's a good one from Lawson on the inside. He gets out front. Louis Kerr is at the back. Dan Thompson having a good look at him up the inside in yellow. Louis Kerr riding a big one round the outside, but it just looks too far.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a ragged start, I think, but the referee lets the race go, and it's Richard Lawson who hits the front. Dan Thompson not going to give up in second place. Scotty Nicholls covering off for the moves of Louis Kerr in third. They come round the pit's bend. Lawson leads out from Dan Thompson. Scotty Nicholls in third place. Louis Kerr trying a big blast, but there's nothing there at this stage in the meeting, and with one to go, it's Pirates looking like a leveller.
Yes, Lawson out front. He's managed to look at like a tape to flag win for him. Dan Thompson a very well deserved second. It's red, yellow, white and blue as they come over the line.
Number 15, a faultless 4 laps for Richard Lawson.
So we have the riders coming round on their victory lap, and they deserve plenty of plaudits indeed, because they've served up some great speedway here. Dan Thompson in particular, Scotty Nicholls, Richard Lawson. Great work from all those boys representing their teams tonight. In just a few seconds time, we'll bring up the official final result of heat number 15 to give you the final match score here at Poole this evening.
Number 15, the result sees a victory for the Pirates, rider in red.
So here we go, the result, official result of heat 15. It's a win for Richard Lawson in red for the Pirates. In second in yellow, Dan Thompson for the Gladiators. What a guest he's been for them tonight. In third in white is Scott Nicholls for the Gladiators, and in fourth in blue was Louis Kerr for the Pirates. 3-all heat score was the result of heat 15, and the match score after 15 heats, 48 to the Pirates, 42 to the Gladiators, as you can see there on the bottom of your screen. An entertaining meeting this has been.
Rider of the night, and to catch a word with the Pirates on their night's work. So stick by us and we will give you some more.
So a quick flick through the team scores, and on the opposition side, 13 points for Dan Thompson from him. In second is so Lasse FREDRIKSEN he picks up 5+1. Ben Barker picks up 2. Joe Thompson, he picks up 3 points, and a vital 3 points they were. Scott Nicholls, as always, scores points here at Wimborne Road. 13+1 for him. Darryl RITCHINGS, 4+1 for him, and Max Perry picks up a couple. Over to the Pirates side, it's Richard Lawson. He only got beat once, 14 points for him. Tobias THOMSEN, 3+1. Louis Kerr, he picked up a couple of wins this evening, 7+1 for him. Zach Cook, 6+1 from his 4 rides. Anders Rowe, an indifferent night for him, 5+1. Poole Starke, a brace of seconds for him, 7+2. William Cairns, he picks up 6+1 for the Pirates, 48 points.
Just 3 points behind in league points, and Pirates need to have a big finish.
So there's
all the points they can.
the match result, 48 to the Pirates, 42 to the Gladiators. The Pirates take a 6-point lead down to the Coliseum on Saturday evening.
That was a tough one.
And as you see, the fans stream out. Big thanks to the Pirates TV crew, Rob Haywood, Paul Haig, some fellas called Scott Mitchell, Rob Dyer, pitch reporter Simon Tyers, Nigel Lehigh, Andy Haig, and of course, thanks to you, the viewers, for joining us. See you soon.
Sometimes cause more problems.
He went inside, outside, he weighed him up, he